This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period.
We're going to have extreme vetting.
Investigating individuals associated with the Trump campaign and the Russian government.
Phony, fake.
I have nothing to do with Russia.
Fake news. It's fake.
I want to have a great health care bill.
Yeah, we're going to be living with Obamacare for the foreseeable future.
The Department of Justice have no information to support those tweets.
Just think about what we can accomplish in the first 100 days of a Trump administration.
So today we're off on a bit of a mission, a voyage, because it's been 100 days since America got itself a brand new president. And I think it's fair to say it's been a busy few months.
Donald Trump set America on fire last year. It's been like the campaign never ended. Every day it's like this blizzard, this avalanche of news.
Executive orders, the court orders to stop the executive orders, the protests, all of the stuff about Russia, about fake news, all of the tweets about Obama and Arnold Schwarzenegger. It is just relentless.
So what's it like living through it? What's happened to the people who rode the Trump train? Those who took to the streets to protest, and the others who just tried to ignore it all. Hi, Jonathan. How are you?
Good morning. How are you? Nice to see you.
So, you voted for Donald Trump?
I did. I felt Donald Trump would put myself and my family in the best position to be safe and to also be able to continue to prosper in the United States.
Donald Trump made people feel?
There's a good portion of America that feels good about the headlines that we have seen about jobs and growth and economy and trying to bring everything back to the U.S. And then there's one camp, and the sentiment is somewhat fear of the unknown. You know, what is he going to do next?
The market has rallied up 2,000-3,000 points since the election. But I think people are realizing that we need something major to happen to go higher, and we maybe don't need anything more than a tweet or a headline to make the market go lower.
So Donald Trump has proven that he's a successful businessman. The market was performing well over the last 8 years. We're seeing that continuation, and I think that's what's most important.
Por el camino del desierto, el viento me despeina, suave aroma de colita, nada del aire. Ella de lo lejos, una luz en tela, la idea de mezclar. Te vi por en la noche, ella estaba a la entrada y la campana de sonar.
Our campus is a place where kids want to come. We create that joy factor within a focused, fun learning environment, so that
we can hear that. This is a morning routine, is it?
This is a morning routine. They come in, no matter what they bring with them. Once they come, we listen, hear the music, start dancing. They start their day.
Hurry up, boys! Hurry up! Hurry up!
What's changed in the last few months?
The biggest impact has been, since Donald Trump became president, the impact it had on immigration and deportation. Our Latino population felt that, they were specifically being targeted. They were being called out. They were being dehumanized. They were being made to feel like everyone coming from Mexico is a criminal.
We don't know who could be next, right? We don't know.
If I could have a discussion with Donald Trump, I would talk to him about deportation. I would tell him that he should not be deporting people who have done nothing wrong.
If he's sending other people back, there's no reason to, because he should get sent back, because he's not from here. The only people who are from here are Native Americans.
Why is he racist towards Mexicans and Muslim people?
If you are a person from another country, the mission, if you want to be here, because this is the greatest country in the world, we know that. We understand that, we get that.
How much is the fear of deportation, of the immigration services, how much does that play into what's going on every day in this school?
I have kids come up now, halfway through the day, just asking to call home because they just wanted to make sure that a parent has come back from work. I have parents calling to find out if the kid made it to school. So it's affecting the learning of our kids, because who can concentrate if you have fear of separation, fear of a family being torn apart?
In the first 100 days, do you think that what he's done, can you fault it at all?
No, he's tried to do everything he said he was going to do. He's been on it ever since he got in. The very next day, he was working. We've never had a president work like he has.
Do you see him as a regular guy who could come in here, say, Charlotte, give me a trim?
I do, I see that, yes.
What would you do if he did come in here?
Well, I'd faint. After I hugged him and kissed him.
And what would you say to him about his first 100 days? I
would just tell him how proud I am that he is trying to help us. Instead of, I'm so tired of everybody dogging him out. He's only trying to help us.
When you wake up in the morning and you see your president, Trump, on the TV talking about what he's going to do, how does it make you feel?
I'm ecstatic that he's in. I helped him get in.
If in 4 years' time there is no wall and you still have Obamacare, are you going to feel disappointed in him?
Not in him. It'd be in the people that are against him. That's who I would be disappointed in.
That's what you would
Not
say.
him at all. No. He makes me very happy what he's doing.
Stumping for the Trump man once again. Jump on that Trump train, roll on down the line. Trump train, keep rolling on down the line.
We jumped on this Trump train and just went all in with it.
Do you think you were at all naive or at least overly optimistic?
There's a lot of people out there that are realizing now that maybe they just got so caught up in the hype
Any questions? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I raised my hand. I was right up front, and I asked him if he became president, what would he do to combat the ongoing heroin epidemic in this country? When you have a child that's died from a heroin overdose, it just drains you so much. It takes away your purpose.
It's a tough deal. Come on. That's a tough deal.
He came from around that podium because I started crying. I was just looking for anything to give me some kind of purpose.
And he's a great father. I can see it. And your son is proud of you. Your son is proud of you.
I thought, this is a guy that's going to help make America great again. He's got a good plan. He's going to get her done.
Take care of yourself, okay? It's very cool. I bet he was a great boy. Thank you, man.
Once he swept to power, what did you think of what he did do with healthcare and how it would affect you and your son?
I was so angry. I couldn't believe it. And I was hurt, and I was mad and angry, and it completely anything good that I had thoughts about went right out the window.
What was it about that plan and how it addressed addiction and drugs that particularly...
1 out of 4 people on Medicaid receive substance abuse services for heroin addiction. All of a sudden, the only lifeline, the only chance to get your life back was being taken away. I mean, what more does a person need to do to show that he is not going to think about his campaign promises one bit? Everybody always asks me if they want to hear a Trump song. I don't really have it in my heart, but... Let's make America great again. Yeah. Let's make America great again. Oh, let's make America great again.
Hi.
Hi, Bruce.
How are you?
Nice to see you.
Good to see you. Yeah.
So tell me what happens here every morning.
Well, we have a bunch of old guys that hang out here, and they sit back there and just talk about whatever they want to talk about. They're guys that have been in this town for years and years.
He's done a lot in 100 days when you consider the fact that everything's going against him. You know,
What's he done?
He done one thing that millions of Americans voted for him for. He put a conservative on the Supreme Court.
That's one of the main things I voted for him for.
I think he's one of the best listeners we've had in a long time.
Trump is criticised for the loose talk, for biting back publicly if someone says something he doesn't like, the tweeting. Is that okay with you from a president?
Well, sure it is. He just tells it like it is, as far as I'm concerned.
Does he need to tone it down? No. No. If anything, he needs to rev it up.
Well, be more outspoken.
Rev it up, yeah.
Does he need to be more cautious, though? Because the consequences of a president saying certain things are far bigger than if you or I said it.
Absolutely, absolutely. You got to remember, he's not a politician.
Well, he is now. He's president.
He is now, but he's from New York. He's got that New York mentality. He just can't let things go. He's done a lot of good things so far, I think. For 100 days, I think he's been exceptional.
He's surrounding himself with good people.
Russia has been this sort of cloud of suspicion that won't go away. The FBI is investigating Trump's team as to whether they colluded with Russia. Does that worry you?
Russia's going to be Russia. Russia's always been Russia. I don't think Russia does a lot that we don't do ourselves. It's our job to check on each other.
But they interfered in your election.
I'm not so sure they did. They didn't sway my opinion at all.
Immigration, important to you, Annie?
Oh, very much so.
Why?
I think the American people should be the American people, and we don't need all these do-gooders coming on over here telling us what to do.
Isn't America a nation of immigrants?
That's what I was going to say. I have nothing against immigration, but there's a right way and a wrong way. We have to have borders, and we have to know who's here. When they talk about Trump is against immigration, they lump it all together. He's against illegal immigration.
want to go back to the day that the day that everyone talks about and when you were filming. Just tell us about what you remember of that day.
They approached the car and they asked for my dad's name. My dad gave it to them and he asked them what he had done wrong for them to stop him.
You started filming. When did you start filming in all of this?
I started filming when they handcuffed him and they were taking him towards the car. I tried asking why they're taking him and they told me that they couldn't answer me any questions. At that moment, they were handcuffing him and they took him in the car.
I had no idea that she had that traumatic experience that morning until she said, my dad was just arrested.
I felt really sad and scared because I don't know how to be without my dad. He was always there to help me in any struggles I had. He was always there for me, so I don't know how to be without him. And like seeing him being taken away in handcuffs made me real sad.
I don't care, documented, undocumented, rich, poor, black, white, brown. No kid should be exposed to such form of trauma because that's something that can and will affect that specific kid for the rest of his or her life.
How's your dad getting on? I know you speak to him, don't you? How is he doing in the detention centre?
I can't say good because nobody could be okay in that place. He just tells me to not give up, and if anything bad happens, to not let that bring me down.
What has happened has made her the Anne Frank of the United States.
You really feel that? That's how
I feel that 100%.
We know the case of Romulo and his family is emblematic.
What do you think about what this president has done to your family and to lots of other families in the same way?
I think he's doing something really unfair. I just feel like he has to open his heart and see that he's making people suffer. I think that no paper should determine whether you get to stay here or not. We're all humans and we all deserve the same rights.
We're a little bit bare here. This is my son's area over here, is ashes and whatnot. When I get myself ready to go for the day, I just take a grab onto this thing like this.
This is where you sleep?
Yeah. I talked to him last night. I told him you guys are coming. And I just dragged this right down the hallway and when he first became in office, I was happy. I was so happy. We did it. We did it. We got this guy who wasn't a politician, and he's the president of the United States right now. My problem right now is it's starting to set in that when I see these families get deported and get torn apart from each other, mother and father being sent back to Mexico, they have a 12 and a 13-year-old son and daughter. It was easy just to turn your head. Shame on me, Nobody to blame but myself when I see this stuff. I don't want to be any part of that.
Do you feel guilty?
Yeah. I do feel guilty if I had anything to do with these families being ripped apart.
He's not a politician, and that's why many people voted for him in the first place. It's early days. Do people not just need to be a bit patient with him?
Well, yeah, they can be patient. People tell me I should be patient. I felt lied to. I felt shuffled aside. I felt like, he cared about, the little people when he was needing their vote. But once he got into office, it doesn't seem like he's reaching out so much to the American people.
You have Brownsville houses and then you have Langston Hughes houses.
This is the center of the project.
This is the center of the projects, and within this super block right here is 4,400 units of public housing. It's just like most neighborhoods that are low income. You know, when you have a lack of resources, when you have low income communities, then that just breeds violence and anger.
Hi, Wanda. Nice to see you. Hi, Anna. How are you doing? I'm good.
Sorry we've surprised you.
Oh my God.
I know.
I wasn't expecting all of this.
I know. I'd love to know what you think about your new president. How's he been doing?
Well, my belief for him being in the office right now, I think it's going to be pandemonium.
What do you think about Donald Trump?
Please, Donald Trump. First of all, he's cutting a lot of programs that affect seniors, which is not right. We live to get a certain age, and I feel like we should have benefits from our federal government, and he's cutting programs.
Trump cannot compare to President Obama. Notice I use the word president because Trump, he doesn't represent a president, a high office, you know. It's a title, yes, but you're not deserving of that title.
America was built on the backs of black people. We came here as slaves. We helped build this country.
Do you really believe he has a low opinion of black Americans?
Yes, I do.
Can you give him a mark out of 10 for his first 100 days in office?
Minus zero.
Minus zero.
Minus zero. Negative zero, yes.
We come in here fairly often, pretty much every day. Hi guys.
Hello.
How are you?
How do you think he's doing?
I think it's awful hard to judge a guy in his first 100 days because this is a job that's on the job training.
Has he done anything that's affected your life so far?
Well, he needs to seal up the borders. The wall's not the right answer, but we've got too much drugs coming into this country, and that's going to bury us one of these days.
Did you vote for him?
Yeah. There's more or less a vote against the other one than was for him, though.
Do you think there's a lot of people like that?
Yeah.
The American people and their president is like a marriage. You know, there's a time where you have to get accustomed to one another.
So are we still in the honeymoon period?
I think it's evolving into a more operational presidency versus getting things off the ground. And who knows how long that takes.
Mr. Trump has a way about him, and he'll do what he wants. But I got to hand it to him. He's got a backbone. He's not afraid to do what he thinks is right.
Hi, you must be Amanda.
I am. You must be Bernice.
Yes, I am Amanda. Welcome to Nashville.
Thank you so much.
And to our little cottage.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
What a treasure trove.
Aren't you sweet? Trump has captured this country because he's doing things different than anybody's ever done before, from the tweets to the way he has handled everything. He's very matter of fact, and he's very dynamic, and I think he's an honest man. We all feel that he is.
So he's different in a good way?
I think it's a good way. At first I wasn't sure. I've seen in the first 100 days that he has made America already a better place. I think he's changed the dynamics of how things are done in Washington, surrounded himself with a fabulous cabinet, and he got his Supreme Court justice in. At first, I wanted to zip his mouth. I didn't like it. I was very opposed to it. Now, I understand why he might be doing it.
Really?
He might be smarter than all of us. He's doing it because he wants to get there before fake media or even the mainstream media gets there.
Unfiltered.
Unfiltered.
Is there an issue for you that is most important in terms of what he may or may not do?
I wanted to put God back in this country, help put God back in this country, like in the schools, and in just the way people treat each other. And I want this country to come back to a civilized situation where we can believe in one another and know that when you're telling me something, it's the truth.
Does it matter to you that your president doesn't seem to want to fund the arts?
It bothers me, I think, especially in the sense that there's no investment in possibility. There's only investment in bits of metal and bricks and things that you can sort of count.
Donald Trump has said that he wants to slash funding to the arts. How would that affect your company?
People make art with resources knowing that it has to succeed. So I think it's a dangerous thing in the way it affects your ability to take risk, which is at the root of making art.
Donald Trump's supporters might say, arts is a luxury we can't afford.
Art clearly creates jobs. I mean, there's not one study that's ever been made that does not say that the arts is a really intelligent place to invest if what you're trying to do is build the economy.
If you could speak to Donald Trump about the importance of art and why it matters, what would you say to him?
I wouldn't waste my breath. I might talk to some of the people around him, and to those people, I would say, I think that we want to be a country of possibility. I think that we do have a level of polarization that has come out of a level of oversimplification. And I think art is one of those things that bridges those gaps. Get him in a room, throw away the key, and make him watch some art for a little bit longer.
Do you want to just put like 1 million tea bags in that giant thing of yours? Yeah. We're heading down to downtown for the tax march today. So we have about 23,000 people who have RSVP'd to showing up to protest that our president hasn't released his taxes yet. These marches and rallies that we've been having, they have this huge energy and people are very excited. Look at all these other people. There's 10,000 other people that think like me who are also upset about our president right now.
He is attacking our values at a very fundamental level. So I don't care if it's about war or if it's about taxes, you're going to get people to show up because across the board, he's attacked everything that we care about.
What is it about Donald Trump that you don't like?
God, where do I begin? Immigration, Russia. Geez, there's thousands of things.
The lies that he's spouting, and I think a majority of the people don't believe him. But we need to do something.
Do you think the feelings are still as strong now as they were back then, just after the inauguration?
Oh yes, definitely.
we're motivated. We're going to stay around. He's destroying the environment, the safety net. It's terrifying.
It's horrible.
He's a moron.
He's a moron.
So I didn't vote for president. First time I've ever not voted for a president. That's pretty sad to say, that I couldn't back one of them.
Men and women came out in their droves to the polls in rural America to back him. What do you think was driving them?
We've neglected a lot of things here. And a lot of people felt like we needed to serve ourselves a little more than we've been doing. He's not going to be an easy one to push around. I think that's a large reason why he did get elected.
He talked a lot about immigration on the campaign trail, but a lot of farmers who voted for him don't support mass deportations. How do people feel now?
Around my parts here, there are people who depend on people born in Mexico or other countries to do some mundane work. It's not glamorous work. It doesn't pay great, but these people are grateful. They are grateful to have good, honest work.
What do you make of what you've seen so far?
I'd hate to see them disrupt, a good trade policy that's already been established and worked hard to get to. That's one of the things that is disturbing about this president. He makes all these huge statements without thinking about the ramifications. A lot of this loud talk, it's not very statesmanlike.
President Trump is a pretty aggressive guy, and whether it comes to business, and now that he's in politics, he shoots first and asks questions later.
Looking back at the first 100 days, is it not somewhat unusual to have a president whose campaign is being investigated by the FBI over potential ties to Russia?
As a supporter of Trump and as an American, I want transparency. I would like to know how things actually went down and if there are ties that are there and if there are not.
Donald Trump hasn't abandoned his business.
The president has the option of putting his businesses in a blind trust.
He still benefits from his multi-million-dollar brand, so do his sons.
His children have been successful through a family business. Because their father is elected president, I don't think that they should then no longer have the opportunity to be successful.
You're very trusting of him.
I am. I am. Listen, we've had this process, and we get to where we are. When President Obama was elected 8.5 years ago, I did not vote for him, but once he was elected, I trusted in him.
Well, this is California, where, of course, they voted in their millions not to have Donald Trump as their president. We all know how that turned out. He must be over it now, though, right?
What do you think of Donald Trump?
I don't think very highly of Donald Trump. I feel he's trying to make our country better. So, do I care for him? No, but I will give him a chance.
I hope he does well. I really do, because it'd be better for America and better for the world in general.
Oh, I love him. Not the answer you're kind of expecting, was it?
What do you think of Donald Trump?
Oh, no. Boy, I am not a fan of Donald Trump. So
I voted for him. I'm happy with his policies.
He's going to be the best game changer there is.
Would you describe yourself as a fan of Donald Trump?
Yes.
Before all this got political?
Before, I was a big fan.
What did you feel about
I've
him?
had a crush on him since the 80s. I've loved Donald. I thought he was, just a great, good-looking guy.
How did you feel when you saw him being sworn in?
It was amazing. He was talking about God. That's the main reason I love him, is because he stands up for God. And there was more talked about God in his speech than any other president we've ever had. And it was very impressive. It got to my heart. Really, I teared up and it was just the best speech I'd ever heard.
You could say that some of the things he's promised have not happened. Look at the travel ban, look at the health insurance. A lot of these things aren't there yet.
But it can. It can, in time. You can't do it in 100 days. It's only 100 days.
Is there anything Donald Trump could do to turn you off?
Nope, he can't turn me off. I'm turned on. I'm very...
That's it, it's a done deal for you.
It's a done deal.
So he could fail at everything and you'd still be on board?
I still love him. I kiss his butt.
I think he's a big disappointment to a lot of people. I'm one of them. I voted for him, and I nearly immediately regretted it.
What did you expect to get at this stage?
A world leader who didn't rock the world stage, who didn't alienate our allies. Also, I expected for them to get a lot further along with health care, at least present a better plan. And Trump strongly campaigned on this.
Do you think it might be too early to judge him?
Other people have told me, Sherry, you're not giving him enough time. But if you look at what other presidents have accomplished at this point within their first 100 days, he's severely lacking.
Have you been given a hard time for speaking out?
I have. I've had a lot of support, which I do appreciate, but I've also had a lot of hateful backlash. I wanted to encourage other people like me, other regretters, to come forward and send a message to Trump. You don't get a free pass. We'll be watching and monitoring. Turns out the non-politician was a politician after all.
Greg, how are you? Come on in.
Hi, good to see you. Welcome back.
How have you been? Doing very well, absolutely.
A busy time, I imagine.
Tell me
Yeah, it
about
was
it.
a long weekend.
Yeah.
It was a busy day.
But it went well.
It went great.
Election day was such a shocking moment, whichever candidate you supported. I mean, that was such a landmark moment, wasn't it, in the US? I mean, how do you think life has changed for you, for those you know
since then? Is it different living in this America to the America that we lived in before?
So people are so upset and they're so frustrated that giving them an outlet to voice dissent is very important. There's a lot of anger and energy around protesting and organizing, but there's also a lot of energy around organizing for the sake of self-preservation.
Say that even on a personal level, the amount of sleep that I have lost because of this president is unprecedented. That's why I've been fighting a cold for almost 2 weeks now. This is something, if my immune system were any better, this shouldn't have been an issue, because there is so much work to do.
What have you made of the job he's done as president?
Well, I think it is a train wreck, to be honest with you, on many levels. I see Trump as a symptom of a failed system, and the people who are suffering made the wrong choice, in my opinion. And I hope that if our movement is successful, in the future we'll give people reasons to vote.
I woke up this morning with the sun down, shining in.
See, I'm a dinosaur, and a conservative dinosaur, so I'm waiting to see. I'm praying a lot. That's all we can do.
I tripped on a cloud and fell 8 miles high. I tore my mind.
What do you make of him so far?
Not much. Not much. Not much.
What condition my condition was in. I pushed my soul in a deep dark hole and then I followed it in.
I think he's doing a wonderful job. I'm very pleased with him. God wants him to be there too.
I got up so tight I couldn't unwind. I saw so much, I broke my mind. I just
Not a fan of Donald Trump or his first 100 days. I mean, he's an embarrassment. As a New Yorker and an American, I'm not pleased he's my president or our president.
So how do you feel about Mr. Trump, sir?
I feel well about him. I just wish he'd got in there sooner.
He speaks like an unintelligent person. He has no sense of public service and duty to humanity. And it's embarrassing and baffling still how this happened.
Someone painted April Fool in big black letters on a dead end sign.
I like his energy, and I like that he wants to do something to make America better.
You think God brought Trump?
I think God heard the prayers of his people. Yes, I think God answered our prayers.
Somewhere I just dropped in to see what condition.
Overall, for America as a country, I think he might do some good. I really do. I think it might work out fairly well for him.